Congratulations. Here's the Opal 18-inch necklace with your 2 3/4-inch extender. Jay, 2 minutes, like blast off. Are you kidding? $79.90, yellow opal, the entire necklace.
All right, and here's the thing. This is, okay, you saw the ensemble that I did. That was brand new. We did that, we did it for the event. Out of that barrel that I bought in Tucson, right? When I bought the barrel in Tucson, this was the first thing that I cut out of that barrel.
And this is it, right?
And this is that's the rough material. This is Peruvian, and I will say that with a capital P, okay? This is the natural material. You can see where it comes in the golds, all that. Look at this. I mean, you just want to, it almost looks like candy. You almost want to eat it, okay? This is the most unique yellow opal I've ever had the pleasure of actually getting. Like I said, you know, I bought a bunch of yellow opal out of Africa one time, and that deposit even now they've mined it out. I haven't seen any in at least 4 or 5 years. It's still around because they got tonnage. I don't have any of it, and I don't know of anybody that I can actually buy it from. But I do see people now that you'll see strands or stuff that are made of. I don't buy things already done. So when I saw this barrel, I was just like blown away because I recognized the material right away. This is really, really rare. This Peruvian yellow opal.
So pretty. It's liquid sunshine is what I call it.
It is, but you know what you saw when you saw the rough? What's really cool about it, it's just got a really cool look to it, very opaque. It's got, it's almost like a honey color to it. It's absolutely stunning. You can see on Orchie here, depending on what you wear it with, I mean, the different colors, you're even gonna get a different color spectrum on the material. It's really incredible. But I didn't even know we had any of these. I didn't know that we had any left.
Well,
I thought, we just had a very few, I guess, that we hadn't aired. And I think I aired this about in August. So this, I don't think we ever got time to talk about it.
Well, in that 2 minutes, over 450, and I have 500 people in the ordering process, so this is also sold out.
Yeah,
so
well, this is something that I can't bring back, okay?